Hey yo, G Dash, boy, take your hat off. Fine. This week on Hats Off with G Dash Jones. Hold up. Woo! What we doing? What we doing? Y'all know. Woo! Let's get it. Hey, it's Hats Off with G Dash Jones. Y'all hear the guitars out. Y'all see what we doing today. Hold on. Woo! I don't want to do too much. You know what I mean? That was 3 times free. I don't know how much it cost, but they said it was 3 times free. Shouts out to them. That's 3 times free new song, Queen of Hearts. I decided to open up with the guitars out again. They're 3 times free is a young punk rock group. You see what I'm saying? They get you. You know what I'm saying? Listen, hold up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna just let it ride out because it was close enough. That's enough of that. Again, shouts out to 3 times free. They're actually performing at Space Boys grand opening, reopening tomorrow. So check them out. Again, this is Hats Off with your boy G Dash Jones. And for an amazing episode, we have the VP of engagement. That's right. Opera singer extraordinaire. Right, I like that terminology. Kerriann, she's going to be on the show. We're going to chop it up with her in just a few moments. Also, just so y'all know, I got to give a special shout out to my man Ty Mathis for Ty Fest. It was like such a beautiful atmosphere to be in. A great situation. At one point, random balloons just started coming down and bopping people in the head. I enjoyed that. Right, just watch people. Wait, what happened? But it's a balloon, and then next thing you know, balloons was just going around. People was throwing balloons around. Suge Daniels was on stage, just ready to take anybody's woman. Like Suge Daniels, take your girl. You better watch her. Listen. She's on that guitar getting it, boy. It was a rap. What is she gonna do? Balloons are flying. Kids was in the crowd having a ball. It was such a great time. Like, shouts out to them. Then the jam session. Shouts out to Ty on the thing. Oh, Ty's set was amazing. Simply Sound Vibrations got my zen together. All my chakras were like, they were in alignment. I could tell. So shouts out to them. Simply Sound Vibrations, Suge Daniels, Fig 90. It was a dope situation. So I just had to show some love to everybody that was at Ty Fest. And then they had a jam session with like 2 different drum sets, 2 different guitarists. You know, it was the jam session was amazing. People had handbells, tambourines. They was playing instruments I couldn't pronounce in English. Well, they probably weren't English. It doesn't matter. Okay, you focus on the wrong things. All I'm saying was Ty Fest was fire, and then of course I got on the stage, got the shoulders was moving, getting people going. So again, I just had to show some love to that. All right. By the way, next week on Wednesday is the open mic jam session, Delaware Music Network. So whatever instrument you choose to play. Matter of fact, if you was at Ty Fest and you played something, come on out to the open mic at the library. And, you know what I'm saying? Downtown to play that joint. That's where I met Ty, was at the open mic jam session. So come on out. And I should be in the building for that. I also got a feature next week, online, virtual joint. So just look out. I do some things. You'll see me. I'll recap it in the schedules. You feel me? With that said, I think it's time for me to bring out, bring out what I like to think of as an opera extraordinaire. Okay? I don't even know if those words go together, but they sounded like they do, so I set them together. The phenomenal Miss Kerriann. Oh, Tano!
Hey, what's up, baby?
How you feeling?
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited. I love your energy. I love like the way that you engage with people and the way that you talk. I think that you're so fantastic. So I'm really happy to be here.
You realize, considering your energy, that's hilarious, right? Like you talking about somebody else's energy is.
Baby, you match it. You
okay.
Match it.
Okay. You know what? I'll meet you where you are.
I love that.
How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling, honestly, highly blessed and favored, if I can be honest with you. It just feels like, so I was a professional opera singer, been with Opera Delaware now for a year and a half. And it just feels like I'm on the right path. You know when you have that feeling when you're like, oh, everything that I was doing, all the chaos was leading to this moment where supposed to be. And that's kind of how I feel every day when I wake up and go to work. So I feel great.
Shouts out, welcome to your purpose. That was phenomenal. Okay, I'm back up. Can you tell people just a little bit about yourself? Let them know who you are, where you're from, all that cool stuff.
Absolutely. So I'm Kerriannotano. I'm originally from New York. I was a professional opera singer for 10 years. I came into opera because honestly, I met a woman who saw me and saw that it was a place where I belonged and advocated for me. It wasn't something that I learned about in school. It wasn't something that we are exposed to, really. But someone saw me and advocated for me to get into it, and I got to perform. I got to live in Italy. I got to perform in Ireland. I got to sing at the Kennedy Center and the Met, all because someone came and said, hey, you belong here. So now that's really what I try to do, is show people that they belong in the arts, in the audience, that you belong, you should be experiencing it, that you deserve it, that the arts are for you. Yeah.
Okay, I want you to know, I wasn't going to say this, but it popped into my head because today's the first day of Black History Month, right? So you being on my show as a Black advocate for the opera is amazing. Like, that's not something that people even tend to think about at all. So that I feel like that was just divine timing. When the world was coming up with the days, they was like, you know what, we're gonna make February 1st perfect for him to have Kerriann on. So like, I was like, you know what, shouts out to the universe.
Everything has been leading up to this moment, babe. Everything.
Clearly. So with that said, okay, right? So I know you said somebody, you know, this mystical woman just came up to you out of nowhere and said, I bestow upon you opera. But let's dial it back a little bit. Were you already into the arts, or what was it like? Like, how did that actually take me through that?
Yeah, I was always I mean, like you, such a ham, such a performer, someone who likes to, to show off, to be a storyteller. And so I was performing in a musical when I was in high school, when I was a freshman, and just, belting my face off, pretending that I could tap dance, musical theater.
Do you know which musical it was?
Yes, it was Anything Goes.
Okay.
And then when the chorus would sing, I would sing the high soprano part just because I could. Like, I had this facility to sing up high, but I didn't really know anything about it. I had access to it. Cool. So this woman comes up to me after the show and she's like, honey, we got to teach you about opera. And she had been a professional opera singer. She ended up becoming my voice teacher. Her wife became my piano teacher. And they just, every week I would go to their house and they would say, here's an album of Black and brown people doing, this is where you belong. You belong here. We need you here. And it was.
Hold on. I hate to stop. Oh, what is this woman's name? Okay, we got to shout her out.
R.I.P. Her name was Lucille Field. I met her when she was 77 years old. Incredible woman. And just every doubt that I had about, I don't belong here, I don't fit in, I know who opera is for, and it's not for me. She would counter that with examples. She would say, let's look at Grace Bumbry, let's look at Leontine Price, let's look at the history of the people who take this to the next level. Because yes, opera is something that was written a couple hundred years ago, but opera is still being created today. And opera is a living art form, so it adapts based on who's telling the story. So we need to take up space and tell those stories.
Oh, okay. See, I love moments like this because I get to talk to my audience for a second. Hey, did y'all hear that, y'all? I didn't know. See, they've been Black people in this genre. We've been here. Okay, we've been here.
Yes.
So
it's incredible.
Yeah. Okay. I imagine it was. Okay. So now you're singing, you're doing an opera situation, but you're not professional yet. You're kind of just doing it when you do it. How did that lead to you saying, this is what I'm going to do? I want to dig in. I'm willing to go to Ireland if I need to. I'm willing. Kennedy Center, see me. Like, how did you do that?
Kennedy Center. Yes. So I lived in Italy for a year. She connected me with my local Rotary Club. Lucy connected with my local Rotary Club, and I got to be a foreign exchange student. So between high school and college, I lived in Italy for a year. I studied at the Conservatory of Music in Milan. And I mean, that just opened up, again, like a whole new world for me. that I'm a kid from Long Island, and honestly, like I didn't know that this was a space for me. And the more that I learned about it, the more it felt like, you know, that feeling when you're just like wholly yourself. That's how opera made me feel, that I could just like unleash. Like, there are no microphones in opera, you know this? So it's just about like big voice energy. Like, you put that voice out there, and that's what I always had, like a lot of voice, a lot of energy, a lot of presence. And so opera is like such an incredible place to get to express that. So I went to Italy for a year. I went to college and I got my master's degree in opera, in vocal performance. And then I started singing professionally. I met my husband on my first opera gig in Sarasota, Florida, 10 years ago.
Wait, pause, back up, and shouts out to him. But we got to dial it back because it was on your first professional gig. How'd you get your first professional gig and a husband at the same time? You got a 2-for-1 special out that situation.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, at the first gig, because I auditioned. A lot of opera companies will hold auditions in New York City. They'll have like big audition days or weeks where they'll hear a bunch of people and they'll decide who they're going to get. I got the gig. Dane got the gig. But how did I get the husband? I'll tell you. I am an amazing chef at about 3 things, and one of them is stuffed mushrooms. I made this boy stuffed mushrooms, and he said, "Can I put a ring on it?" Can I put a ring on it?
You stuffed his mushroom and got married. That's how that works. That is love. Let me tell you. Yeah. Listen, take this. Oh, by the way, some people out there, listen, you, whoever you are, stuff a mushroom.
Listen.
All right.
Stuff a mushroom.
Stuff a mushroom. That's it. I ain't got nothing else for you. Stuff a mushroom. Okay. So they do like almost like America's Got Talent or one of them talent shows type of auditions where it's like, hey, one big space in major cities. And then everybody comes to these areas, and then you kind of audition it out. And then did you have to move to Florida for that person?
Yes. So I have lived in so many different places. So I lived in Florida then for 3 months to work for this company, for Sarasota Opera. I later moved to Texas and lived there for a year to work for Fort Worth Opera. I lived in DC for 3 years working at the Kennedy Center. I lived in California for 3 years working at Opera San Jose. So it's been kind of all over the place. I've gotten to like live and experience so many cities and so many different people. I mean, that's the amazing thing about being an artist. You know about this life, that you get to meet the people you get to meet when you're in art is incredible.
That is so dope. I love it. So I have to ask, just because you've done some shows in state, you've lived out of state, you've been a part of opera out of state, stateside, I should say. Is it different? And you act like with almost Italy, like one of the homes of opera. Like, is it different in different places, or is opera like the same? Like, what is that? Is it regionally different or culturally?
Different. It's so different in different places, because you know in Italy it's so part of their culture, and in Europe it's state sponsored. It's paid for by the country, right? In like Germany, there are opera houses everywhere. And I think that that's something that we miss here in America, is that we don't have ownership of the arts in the same way. I think that we can change that. And I think Delaware is the first state. And so I think Delaware is going to be the place that's going to change it, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because a lot of people think, you know, they think of opera as something that was written a couple hundred years ago, and that is for a specific group of people, and that a specific group of people perform it, and a specific group of people sit in the audience of it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to say is that we are the adults. Like, we are grown now, and so we can determine what we want these spaces to be. And the way that we determine that is by showing up in these spaces. So there are operas that were written 400 years ago. There are operas that are being written today that tell stories about things that are happening today. There's an opera at the Met this season about Malcolm X.
Yes, the Malcolm X. I said, y'all put Malcolm Red in that was Denzel when I was little. Wait, who made Denzel an opera singer as young Malcolm? Wait, so you mean to tell you the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is singing opera? Like, I need to understand.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the guy who played that role, Oh my God, the voice on him. The guy who's not gonna, the voice on these people, because that's the thing. Opera is, when you think about like the definition of opera, I want to change what that definition is in your mind, because what opera is to me is just big emotion, big stories, larger than life, and collaborative. So we perform with a full orchestra. We're singing with no microphones. There are dozens of people on the stage and people backstage. Opera is about collaboration, about creating something together. And it's not something that's stuck in one time period. It's larger than life. It's big. So there are operas that are about everything from immigration to, there's an incredible opera called Blue that is about police brutality. It's told from the perspective of a Black police officer and his wife welcoming their first son. Okay, I saw this opera. Whew, I saw this opera at the Kennedy Center. And the talk after, they let the audience stay and have a conversation after. And like, this is what this is what art has the power to do, is when we're so used to being on the internet right now and reacting to things so fast and saying, reading a headline and having a reaction. With opera, with art, you got to sit for an hour, 2 hours and experience it and feel the emotion and sit with it. And then at the end, there were all of these people, my God, there were all of these people who were then sharing their stories of engaging with the police or being a part of the police or being related to someone who was in the police, and what that felt like. We were opening up. It was an amazing way to get to know your community. It's an amazing way to get to know other people, and to get to know yourself better. Like, that's what art is all about. So I just want to change this narrative that opera is this thing that's for rich people in tuxedos. I want you to wear a tuxedo if that's what you want to wear. Wear something dope to the opera, like
Right.
turn. But opera is about feeling and seeing and experiencing these really big emotions and big stories.
Yes. Okay. Right now, with that said, in full transparency, I never thought that I would be at an opera, let alone speaking to someone who was in one. And, now I'm enthused about this situation. And I'm curious, as a part of changing that vision, let's talk about kind of who you are in that vision. So as a Black woman of color, I got to ask you this specifically, right? I think, what was that like? Or was it like a thing? Like what's it like being Black in opera? And did it change over the years?
It is changing constantly. It's changing. And this is what I'm saying, that like, we have to take ownership of these spaces, because as I was coming up in opera, I'm let's be honest, I'm darker than a brown paper bag. I'm biracial. And so I'm racially ambiguous. So I could play whatever.
And it changes in the summertime. Oh, crap.
It also changes if my daddy is in the audience, because if my dad's there, I suddenly become like a way darker person than I was.
I need your skin tone to not be a mood ring for your father. Like, I don't want your father. Like, oh, her daddy here. You can tell. The melanin is getting thicker. Her daddy is right there. Your husband start getting up. Sir, there he is. I can tell. My wife is saying, there he is. That's the thing.
It's difficult, because it wasn't that long ago that Black people were breaking ground in opera, that Black people hadn't been in opera at all. We're talking like less than 100 years ago. And so a lot of that, it's shifting and it's changing. But this is what I want us to realize, is like, the only reason that things change is because we demand change. Ooh. The only reason that the stories that we tell in opera change is because the artists who make them demand that those stories have a voice, and the audiences who experience them demand that those stories have a place. So it's kind of like, it's on us to be a part of it. I know a lot of, it's not great. I mean, we have a complicated history in opera. Let me be honest with you. I mean, 20 years ago, there were people who were doing opera fully in blackface.
Wow. Wait, that was acceptable? Help me understand it.
Ooh. Opera has a problematic history. There are things that are challenging about it. The artists who make it, the art form itself, is it for me. It's worth it to advocate for it and save it, but I'm not going to turn a blind eye to how complicated our past has been. There's been a long history of people doing this opera Aida, this incredible opera that's about this African princess who gets captured and becomes a slave. And there were people doing it, I'm not kidding, in blackface. And just like, this is fine. And it's interesting because I feel like we have an obligation as artists to point that out, to acknowledge it, to talk about it, to draw attention to it, and to be a part of finding the solution for it. Because I'm going to tell you honestly, there are a ton of incredible Black opera singers who can sing that role. And I just don't think there's any reason for anyone to sing it in blackface. And that shouldn't be a controversial opinion to have. You know?
No. I'm gonna tell you what I just understood in this conversation. You tell me if I'm wrong, because you're in the mix. In my brain, because 20 to 30 years ago, Black people were so prevalent to say, I don't even know about this opera stuff. And whenever we say things like that, okay, good. Somebody give me the paint. I was hoping that you would not come. I didn't want y'all to come. Give me. I'm hooking up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna use the N-word a couple times now because they ain't coming. And we don't realize that we kind of gotta. You better go into the. Sometimes you gotta go into the spaces just to make sure they ain't acting up. Like, hey, what y'all doing over there? All right, we good. We good. Chill out. We good. Just check it. Just check it. Sometimes you need representation just so people don't get a little too loose. You know what I mean?
The representation matters so, I cannot tell you how much it matters. It matters for it matters for us. It matters for little kids who are coming to see the opera for the first time and see themselves in it, or they don't. And they come and see ballet for the first time and they see themselves in it, or they don't, right? Like, all of these spaces, all the arts, we have to take up space there, because otherwise we're telling the next generation, this is not for you. Right. And it has to be for all of us, because there's so much that you get from being involved in the arts and experiencing the arts. There's so much that you get from the empathy that you feel. There's so much that you get from the energy that you feel from watching people perform on stage. Right. To feel someone's voice in your body with no amplification, to feel their voice reverberate in your body, is such a special experience. And my God, if Black and brown people don't take up space, nobody's gonna give it to us.
Right. So now, how would you say the space has changed over the last 20 years? Like how would you say it's moved the needle, even with your involvement? Well, outside of, I'm sure we're far less likely to see them pick up some paint and rock out. They don't even use that no more. No need. You're gonna leave that alone.
A lot has changed about opera. A lot of the conversations, why is my biggest question in life. I think all the time, why are we doing this? Why are these the rules? Why are these the expectations? And with creating opera, I think, why are we doing this? What are we trying to say? And so I think it's exciting now. So many artists have really stepped up and taken a lot of ownership of this is what I want opera to be, and advocated for it. And that has changed the game. And it's just, we are in the dawning of the age of Aquarius, you know that?
Yeah.
Fun fact, I'm an Aquarius, and it is, get ready.
Oh, your birthday about to happen.
It is. It's my birthday next week, baby.
Wow. Well, listen, you already there. What? Birthday time. I don't know how y'all sing birthday in opera. I don't even know if that's copywritten the thing. That might.
Listen, watch. Birthday's about to be my word. I'm gonna make you do a whole speech about it at the end.
Listen, I'm ready. Don't give me warnings though. So here's the thing. All right. So now, I'm really curious. Yeah. Because y'all have an orchestra behind you. Y'all don't have a microphone.
Right.
How is it ever difficult to get there? Because that means you always gotta go, right? In the opera setting, you gotta be able to push your voice up above the orchestra. Yeah. Is that ever difficult to do, or what about when you just not in the what you mean, the day? How does it get there?
Every day, I gotta do this every day. Yes. Yeah, think about it. Your whole body is your instrument, right? Because you have to support, you need the strength, you need the energy. Um, Opera is like a full body. We call ourselves vocal athletes, right? Because you're doing the stamina that it takes to sing opera for 2 hours. Imagine making the loudest sound that you can make and making it beautifully for 2 hours. Can you imagine? Like, that is
No,
wild.
no,
What
the loudest sound I can make is not beautiful, and I don't expect it to be. And then making it for hours sounds painful. I need you to know, there's layers to why that doesn't make sense. That I couldn't do. Like,
it's layered.
so, so how do you get it there when it's not, or do you like? What did you do?
I mean, this is what the training is really for. I think that, when people think about classical singing, like, why do you take these lessons? Why do you study so much? Why? It's so that you can learn how to do this in a way that's healthy and safe, and that you know how to, if you have a little cold, if you feel a little under, you know what exercises to do to get yourself in the right space. I highly recommend voice lessons for anyone who likes to sing at all. Any
Mm-hmm.
genre of music that you like to sing, you can learn more about your body, about breath support, about how to connect with your body, about how to be a performer by taking voice lessons. I strongly recommend it.
Yes, yes. By the way, I'm just gonna pause. Listen, all I'm gonna do is say what she said. Okay, I ain't gonna say nothing besides what she said. Take some voice lessons. I'm gonna tell you why. Because some of y'all think that y'all know, and then you don't. Okay, because you can't hear it here. Like she nice. She ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Some of you think that because you're loud, it sounds good. No, it's not just being loud. It got octaves. I don't hit them. I know I don't hit them. That's why I ain't doing it. But you can. But
I
take a
can't
lesson.
stand you.
I want them to be better than me. Okay, like,
I just want more for you. I just
right,
want better.
right. You have options that don't include the shower and singing. So, but only if you listen to somebody else tell you how to do it. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes.
I mean, honestly, I think that I love to sing. I loved it when I was a kid. I always um, was like curious about it and it was fun. But once I learned technique and how to do it in a safe way, it opened up so many more genres of what I could do, of the range that my voice could sing. So I would love to advocate for people. Join a choir, sing locally, take voice.
Wait. So you mean to tell me somebody joining the gospel choir, learning how to properly sing "Swing Low, Sweet Cherry"
Oh,
is going to help them sing "Aida"?
yes.
Wow.
Yes, the things that you can learn by singing in a choir, absolutely will be a huge benefit. Um, there's a lot that makes singing opera incredibly difficult. There's a lot that makes it challenging, but it's not so challenging that you can't get a little bit closer to it by being more involved in the arts in your community. I think that for me, the people that I want singing in opera choruses at Opera Delaware are people who are singing in their church choir. I want you to be on stage with the opera because, one, we pay, first of all, fun fact. That's a paid gig, okay? And I know that you sing with heart and passion, okay? I know that you love to sing, and those make the best singers. I can teach you Italian, right?
Wow.
But I can't teach you passion. So if you come with that, I can meet you where you are.
That's a bar. Listen, I can teach you Italian, but I can't teach you passion. Say it. I wish I would have wrote that down. That's good. Okay. All right. So you were bellowing in different regions and different areas, and you kind of seen it in different areas, and then somehow you say, "We in Delaware." Okay, how? Like, how do you wind up?
Delaware is my spot now. Like, this is it. This is where the opera revolution happens, is right here in Delaware. Sorry, everybody else. No, I was living in Memphis right before this. I was in Memphis for 2 years, in California, in DC. But I was in all those places, in a lot of those places, I was singing. And so when you're an opera singer, you typically kind of live out of a suitcase. You bounce from city to city, and you perform these incredibly moving, difficult, beautiful operas. But you're like living in a hotel room, right? And I didn't feel connected to my community. I didn't feel like connected to the audience. And for me, that was a huge misstep because 97% of people in America don't regularly attend classical arts events. 97% of people. And so if we're trying to connect with those people, our best tool to connect with them is artists to be advocates. So when I was living in Memphis, I got a message from the general director of Opera Delaware here. His name is Brendan Cook. Shout out, Brendan. And he was like, I hear what you're doing. I hear the way you're talking about opera and about artists and about audiences. Come to Delaware. I want to have a conversation with you about this. And this position.
I'm thinking. G, update your calendar. Guess who's Bizak? It's Naj and Jay. New time. You missed the live. Tap into the replay. Tuesday. One Village Alliance and Girls Can Do Anything decided to help Black girls heal. Amanda Seals is at the Wilmington Library. Moderator Dr. Marla Blunt Carter. It's the Still I Rise series. Hear me, stay at the library. We show off our work. It's the Open Mic Jam Session, Delaware Music Network. Virtually hit the tag app. I'm featuring What's the Word? Hosted by It's a Blessing. Come on, y'all, to Kendra Scott at Christiana Mall. Make your own jewelry. It's a party with the color bar. And stay home and watch Hats Off with G-Jones. On Instagram, it's an in-depth talk with Richard Raw. I said, guess who's Bizak? It's BKS, Best Kept Soul off the cruise at the Reef, feeling fresh. Yes, Saturday's Black History, Energy, By City Fest, Urban Artists Exchange. Anthem at Second Saturday Poets is not a game. Stop by Galuccio's, then hit up the Queen for the Laugh Love Comedy Show. If you love laughs, or Icons at Icons, that's Harvey Road, Black Mambas, and 3TF Band. Sunday late night grinds on during the day. That squad from 3 to 5 got something to say. Then there's a lyrical cipher on Instagram. Bring your flows for Benita Poetry and Tierra Nicole. The Super Bowl you can watch with Tim Dog at Timothy's. Comment who you got, San Fran or KC. You wanted to know what's going on? Well, there's your answer. Hit my inbox for sponsorship or to get your event on G-Dash. Update your calendar.
Engagement does not exist at any opera company that I'm aware of.
Wow.
We made this position because we both align so much in what we want, how we want opera to be perceived, and how we want opera to affect people. Like, we align so much in what we think opera singers are and the value that they bring to a community. And we want opera singers to be celebrated here. We want their creativity to be celebrated. So it's just been so exciting to create this position and to learn it kind of like my own strengths. Like, this is kind of, honestly, I feel like what I was always meant to do was show people that this is a place where they belong, to connect those dots and demystify and take the kind of pretentiousness out of this art form that I love so much, so that you can see how great my friends are. That's really what I want you to see, how amazing my friends are when they perform with us.
That's dope. I'm gonna tell you why I love what about what you said, right? In my brain, right now, mind you, I opened up a show with a rock band playing rock music, a band named 3TF, but they're a Black rock group. That was very intentional, right? And they play like punk rock. That's what they do. Why? Because that was a space that we weren't traditionally always thought to have been in. But now it's everybody love that. Then, hip hop is hip hop. Everybody love that. But if I said opera, they'd be like, right? So like, are you sure?
What if I say this word to you, though? Hip opera.
Now I'm curious.
Okay.
Now I'm curious.
This is the thing. Opera was not something that was created 400 years ago and then stopped. Opera is a living art form. So there are mariachi operas. There's people who are blending opera with hip hop. There are librettists.
Wait, did you say mariachi opera?
Oh yeah, baby. Yes.
Like the mariachi band? Like I don't want to say that wrong, but I feel like the big sombrero joints and rocking out with the what? I want to be in a mariachi in a mariachi part. Never mind, I can't do it. I was trying to make it one and it didn't work for me. But I feel like
we're shopping it. We're gonna get it.
Yeah, but that sounds okay. But that's and that's why That's why you're here to me, because I think that's to me that's dope. Now, granted, I didn't realize that Delaware is, I guess, one of the most inclusive places for opera. That is my brain. That is, but it has to be. It literally makes it an initiative to have, Black and brown people a part of it, right? We got the mini gala coming up. That just had that coming with the squad. When I seen them, I said, "Oh wait, you got the soprano, the tenor. You got both of them coming up. They're a married couple as well, right?" And I was like, "Huh? Wait, hold up."
Yes.
And it's not even at the house. How and I know this off script, but how do those things happen? Like, how do they wind up with just bringing Black folks from everywhere to come here to sing opera? What's happening here?
Interesting, because this event that we have coming up, it hasn't been announced to the public yet. The tickets have not gone on sale to the public yet. We're just in pre-sale, but we're doing this event called A Divine Night in Delaware. And the purpose of this event is to attract the members of the Divine Nine, the historically Black, the sororities and fraternities that were founded at HBCUs. We want to attract that membership to take ownership of the arts, of opera and ballet, of classical spaces, right? So in this performance that we're going to do, we have our artist who is the lead in our upcoming production of Turandot. She's gonna sing. She's the title character. Okay, she's so major. This chick, she won the Metropolitan Opera competition. Like what? Like she is a big deal. Okay, but also we're joining together. Richard Raw is going to be performing. I'm going to be singing a chorus in opera style on a song that he did. We're going to have some spoken word. We're going to blend some genres together, but we're also going to see just what these classical artists can do in their full greatness, right? So I'm so excited for the exposure of this event. I'm also so excited because the Divine Nine group that has the most representation at this event wins a free pop-up opera concert at a venue of their choice any state and perform. This could be a fundraiser. This could be for a school that you love. This could be for a nonprofit that they love. The idea is that we want to bring you to us, and then we want you to tell us where we should go in the community.
Wow. Okay, listen. So, hey, shouts out to Richard Raw. He's actually my guest next week. Ta-da! So, I love when it all comes together. Like, I love when it makes sense. Okay. And if y'all need an extra poet at that event, I'm available. Just let me know.
We're doing this.
I am down.
You just basically signed a contract with me, so like we're doing this.
Listen, I've signed worse contracts. So I feel like, but so now, oh my God. Okay, so now in this space, as you're kind of building that thing and you're bringing it back, was it hard? And I know you still sing sometimes because you're about to do some opera on Raw's album. But okay, is it hard for you to go from doing opera to like was it hard to transition to say, you know what, I'm mainly gonna be the engagement? Like I ain't gonna lie, I was looking for footage of you just singing and I was like, oh she's in this role, she ain't playing. Like, don't just
I'm real. Now I will be honest with you, I will send you some stuff because there are some very like cute clips. Also, I'm on Spotify. I made an album, don't worry about it.
What? No, hold on. I'm worried. I need to worry immediately. What's it called? I want to know.
You can check your girl. There's an entire opera that my husband and I did that you can watch on YouTube. The two of us doing La Boheme together. So you can see some stuff of how your girl did it. But yeah, what I realized, when we were talking about like everything kind of coming together, I feel like I was a performer for so long so that I would understand what it's like to be a performer, so that I would understand what it's like to want to connect with an audience and to be living out of a suitcase in a hotel room and to not really be able to make that connection. And so this new role that I'm in, I mean, I don't know how to describe it other than it feels like God or the universe or whatever put this in front of me, because this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to clear the path. I'm supposed to clear the nonsense out of the path that makes you feel like you don't belong there. I'm supposed to wipe that brush aside and make a clear road that shows you that this is a space for you, that we need you here and that we want you here. And honestly, I really love it.
Do you miss the stage? Like, are you ever sitting there like, watching them go, they go, oh, you're like, hold on,
You know what?
I'm about to hit that note real quick. Let me just get it real quick on them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hear what she's doing, but I could just a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. You know, I think that a lot of singers worry that if they move into administration or if they move into something else, that they're going to miss singing or they're going to be like bitter, right? That they're going to be like, oh, I could have done that better. And I don't know if it's the big sis in me. I'm the oldest in my family. I have two younger brothers. I don't know if it's that mentality that I have, but all I want to do is is love on these artists. All I want to do is connect them with the community and hype them up, because what these artists do takes so much heart and intelligence, and creativity, and they are so hardworking. And I just want to welcome you to experience that and to get to know them as people, because there's so much more than the notes that they sing. They are like mothers and fathers and complicated people who have lived fascinating lives, and they have something to tell you through their music. And I just want to open the doors of the opera house and show you that's where you should be.
Wow. Okay. That is beautiful. It touched my soul in public, which I don't like to happen on screen. Here's the thing, right? And now because now you got me curious, because you have brothers. So did your family start off like you said, hey, I'm doing this opera thing, right? Like now you've been in it for quite some time, they're used to it. But were they like, well, you go, but we ain't about to watch this foolishness. I'm not like the advocacy starts at home. It starts at home. It starts in the house. So how did you how did you bring the house in when somebody was like, you know the game on. It's like,
This is a great question, because I'll tell you, my dad is an umpire. He's like a referee. He is all sports all the time. And my brothers are like, they're gamers and athletes, and it's not their world. But that's the thing about like loving an artist, about really knowing an artist. They took such a genuine interest in this thing because I was passionate about it. That's what I'm saying with passion. I can't teach you passion. You got to find your passion. But when they saw that in me, and it's the same way that I feel when they take me to a football game or they take me, I want to learn more about it because you care about this thing. Right. That's what I call joyful advocacy. Is that I want us advocating for these things that we love, not in a way that's pretentious, not in a way that's like, oh, you should know this, talking down to people. I want us advocating by saying, welcome to this thing. Let me find these connection points that make you fit in. It started with me singing. I was in West Side Story, and West Side Story is a musical, but it's also very much like an opera. And I remember my dad seeing this and the realization that like, he was like, oh, I fit in here. Okay, I understand this. Now my dad will come to opera performances. He is one of the biggest advocates that I know, because he will say to people, I really didn't think this was for me, but like, I love to,
Yes, that's like what I get it. Like, it makes sense. I see it now. And then, and that's a dope little, okay. Not to detour, but how did you come, like, you from Long Island, and then you moved to the South, which are several accents that have nothing to do with opera. Like, none of those accents work in opera. You can't sing the Phantom of the Opera in New York. Like, you can't, like, none of those things, or from Memphis. Like, you can't do those accents there. So was it either hard to make sure that you don't catch an accent, or did you always have to keep a switch up on you?
It's so funny. I think by being a performer, you get a good ear for accents. So we in opera typically sing in Italian, French, German, but there are operas in English, in Russian, in Mandarin. There are operas in Klingon from Star Trek, right? Like, I mean, there are operas all over the place. So you have to have a good ear for language. But also, my sweet mother was a speech pathologist, and so I got to give her credit.
Yeah, a cheat code. You had a whole cheat code.
I really did have a cheat code. She had a heavy Long Island accent, but she really taught us how to navigate around it. And then I think just living so many places, I've heard people speak in so many ways. I can drop into the Long Island accent in like a really serious way if you want. Like if you want to hear it, I can like really hit you with it.
Yo, what's his name? You sound like Pete Davidson's mom of the movie. Look, I need you to know.
I can also, wait, let me see. So my husband and I were supposed to get married in North Carolina, and we had an amazing caterer who was helping us like coordinate everything. Hurricane Florence hit the week of our wedding. This is a wild side story, but I just want to hit you with her accent because when she called me on the phone to tell me, hey, you're going to get evacuated from the island, she went like this. Hey, so Hot Sugar, you're going to get evacuated from the island tomorrow, and you're going to want to leave North Carolina and head back to New York because it's going to be a serious hurricane. Okay, so I love accents. I love all accents.
You're an opera shapeshifter. You are an opera shapeshifter. I did not see that coming. No part of me saw that coming in this conversation. That is fire. Like, yo, okay. What? You better be careful. You used to call your mama from school as the teacher. I could tell. Like, wow. Okay. Wait, in the operas, because I ain't seen one, do they sing the whole time or is there talking? I know that sounds like a ridiculous question.
No, it's actually a great question. So in operas, typically operas are sung straight through. There are some operas that have dialogue in it, that have spoken dialogue. But one of the things that I love about opera that you might not realize, no matter what language the opera is being performed in, we have what we call super titles. So it's just like subtitles that you turn on when you're watching like Netflix. But super means above. So they're above the stage, English captions the entire time. So even if the opera, and this is what's so cool, even if it's being sung in English, we will still have English captions. So it's like an accessibility point that like you're never, a lot of people don't want to go to the opera because they think I'm not going to understand. There are so many ways for you to understand the story, and I'm trying to open more of those doors. So follow me on Instagram because I'm gonna be getting people ready for our upcoming production of Turndot and telling you a little like behind the scenes about the characters, about the history, about the music. It's all about this like joyful advocacy. People want to know. People want to like engage when you're passionate. Their curiosity is turned on if they feel like you want them to really be a part of it. So I love sharing this with people.
Absolutely. Listen,
No
so, okay.
No dumb questions in opera.
You got, all right. I feel like I'm not prepared to be that nice. Okay, all I'm saying is we got super titles at the top, right? We bellowing in the middle, right? Advocacy on all around, bit, right? This is a vibe. Now, okay, so now for you as the advocate, now that you're bringing people together and it's all doing that, as you started doing that, what made you, did that help you with your TED Talk? I assume actually you doing opera helped you doing the TED Talk because you were already used to stages. Or was it not, was that different? Like, because now you got to talk to people.
It was different because I love to talk to people, but I think like preparing it and writing it, deciding exactly what I wanted to say in 15 minutes, it really kind of, I'll be honest with you, I have a lot of confidence. I don't know if you can tell. I have a lot of confidence. It was one of those moments that I was like, oh, have I faked everybody out? Am I a fraud? Can I not do this? And that's when you come across those feelings, what I've realized is when I feel scared like that, it's just because I care about something so deeply. I want to be great. And like, so when I feel scared, I go, you're not scared, babe. You care about this. Let's work harder. Let's try harder. And so with the TED Talk, I mean, again, talk about like things just coming together. It felt like this is my opportunity to take everything that I've learned in the 10 years that I had performing, in the 2 years that I've been an administrator in the arts. Let me talk about what I think the future of this art form is. And I think the future of this art form is joy. I think it's joy. I think it's not elitism. It's not pretentiousness. It's not exclusivity. It It is joy and collaboration and creativity. It is things like mariachi opera. It is things like hip opera. It is things like jazz and opera. It's when we combine these art forms, because look at what America is. America is, I don't even want to say that it's a melting pot. I think America is like musically and artistically like a gumbo. Okay. So like everything holds its integrity. The sausage, the shrimp, the jambalaya, we're all holding our integrity of who we are. And that's what makes it so special. That's what makes the flavor so great. So I want the arts to be a place where, and opera in particular, where genres come together. And that's what we're doing at Opera Delaware. It's my whole life now. I love it.
So I'm sorry, I got to talk to people one more time. Listen, because she said something that was powerful, right? Outside of the gumbo is fire, and now I want some gumbo, but that's not what I'm saying right now. What I need you all to know, okay, this is Hats Off with G-Jones every Thursday, 7:30. That's what we do. Boom. Here's what she said that was important to me, right? When you get nervous because you about to do something new, and you like, wait, maybe I shouldn't even do this. You start doing that thing. That anxiety is really there because of your passion. It's because you care for it so much that you're afraid to fail at it. But if you don't do it, you'll have regret and resentment to yourself for not doing it. So you have to lean in to the passion and even the fear, because that's what's going to make it really great, because you're going to do it all you can because you don't want to regret it. Like otherwise.
That's right.
All right. So, okay. All right. So you did the TED Talk. What made you do the? By the way, and people don't know, she did a TED Talk, kind of like she talked as much advocating for opera. What made you do the TED Talk? Like, what was the reason for even doing it?
Well, I was very, very lucky when I've only been in Delaware now for about a year and a half, but
Wow.
I joined Leadership Delaware, which is this amazing program that connected me with like 30 of my best friends. And one day I was out having coffee with one of my friends, and Dan Young, who is at Theater N, he had been an alumni of Leadership Delaware. He came and sat with us, and we were talking just like you and I are talking. And he said, "Have you ever thought about doing a TED Talk?" And I said, yeah, like I think about it all the time, like just making jokes, not realizing he actually runs TEDx Wilmington right here in Wilmington. So he tasks that he like recruits people to be a part of it, and he connected me with this amazing woman, Amanda Banks, in Nashville, to do my first TED Talk. He thought that it would be a strong opening for me to do it not in Wilmington, but for me to do it in some other place. And honestly, like 25,000 views later, I'm like, you were right, Dan. Shout out Dan Young, because that man, he's prolific. He's always thinking. So it was just, it was amazing to like meet someone who understood what I was trying to accomplish, and was like, let me give you the platform to do the thing that you're trying to do.
Wow. Can I talk about a busy year and a half? My Lord. Okay. Like, you talk about making the most of your time. What they call them, high potential people. This thing playing. All right. So, right, shout out to Dan. You did like with the TED Talk. Now, mind you, I didn't know that these things overlapped, right? Because I know some people. You go through the Leadership Delaware situation. Shouts out to Malcolm Coley. He was a part of it. That's my man. And you know what I'm saying? I had him a couple episodes back. Fire episode. Go check that out. And also my man G Spence. He's a prolific poet. My man, listen.
He's performing at that Divine Nine event. Okay.
Like, you want to talk about a poet give you chills? That boy, yeah, shout out.
In Leadership Delaware, we call him Romeo.
That's funny, and I like that's funny. Okay, shouts out. Listen, the boy smooth. The boy can write. He's powerful. Okay, so what made you get into the Leadership Delaware situation?
Well, honestly, I went to a meeting. My boss had recommended that I go, and he was just thinking like, you're gonna go to this little like meet and greet and make a couple of friends. And I went, and when I heard the way that I talk about opera, that's how people in Leadership Delaware talk about whatever it is that they're focused on. That's how Malcolm talks about Futures First Gaming, right? Like, that's how people in Leadership Delaware talk about their passion. And it just, by the time I left that first meeting, I was like, well, I have to know all of these people. And it's existed now. The program has existed for, there are like 300 people, 300 alumni across the state. And that network of people who care so deeply about education, about politics, about housing, they care about things as deeply as I care about the arts. Being connected to that network of people, I'm like, there's nothing we can't do. There's nothing we can't do in Delaware.
So somebody introduced you to that program?
Yeah, my boss had done it actually like 10 years ago. He had been in the program. And so he was like, oh, just go to one of the little mixers and make some friends. And I heard alumni speaking, and I met people who were applying for the program. And I was like, oh, no, these are my friends. Like, these are the people I'm supposed to be with. And I was right.
Okay.
Because they're the best people I know.
Okay, again, I gotta tell them. So do me a favor, y'all. Okay, if you're not sure who your tribe is, or you're not sure how to get into where you want to go, no matter where you are, to be clear, I don't want you to think like, yes, if this is popping off in Delaware, to be fair, okay, then wherever you are, and you might have a tribe popping off there too. If you don't know who to ask Google or ChatGPT. You have options there too. Ask, hey, are there any networking groups that handle I like this thing? Whatever that thing is that you like, fill in the blank there. And ask it, and then it'll say, oh yeah, this or that. And the next thing you know, it might lead you to meeting your tribe. And that is amazing. Oh man. Wow, that has been a busy year and a half. Okay. Before I ask my final question, because I'm curious, do people who write operas also sing opera? Like, is it the same people who write it that sing it, or are there like writers, and then there's singers, and then there's like musicians, like music writers as well? Like, how that work?
This is such a great question. Okay, so we call them librettists. Libro is the Italian word for book. So a librettist is someone who writes the text of the story. And I have met librettists who are hip hop artists, who are authors, who are playwrights, who are poets. Like, librettists can be, anyone can write an opera libretto. And in fact, like, the more life experience you have, I think the better libretto is that you create. Then composers take the libretto and take the text and put music to it. And then singers perform it. So there's so many layers of collaboration and creativity involved in creating a new opera. That's another thing that I want Delaware to kind of be known for. I want Delaware to be a place where we workshop and present opera librettos, where the audience can come and just hear a libretto reading of what we want the text to be for an opera, give us feedback, and then we take it to the next level, and we have a composer write the music, and then the audience gives us feedback. Like, I want the people of Delaware to be a part of making the next great American opera.
Okay, you keep dropping heavy things on my face. Okay, I wasn't prepared. Okay, so now a libretto. Listen. If I had a son, it'd be little Libretto Jones. That's what I'm It's so funny. Libretto Jones, like Libretto Jones. All right, listen, say something. I get him a hat and everything. All right, so listen, I got two daughters. Libretto don't work for them, but Libretto Jones, come here, boy. All right, either way. So you get librettos, and I assume that the writer of the libretto has to have an ear for opera or notes that carry that way, like
more so being collaborative, right? So they could write an opera libretto, they could write the story, and then work with a composer who says, I need a different word here, or I need this phrase to be longer. And then the librettist might tweak it and change it. And then it might go to an opera singer for a workshop, and the opera singer might say, I can't sing this word on this note. And so that makes it change. So it's all about collaboration and being, we kind of think of in like improv, this yes and mentality, that you're like, yes, I can do that. And here's another thing that I can do for you. That's what every phase of creating an opera is like, yes, and. Yes, I can. Yes, here's what I'm going to give you. But yes, I can change it to this other thing. And yes, we can play in this space and make something that works just for you. So I think it's so exciting to be a part of opera.
So the libretto can't have, it's pretty much as a writer who is open to collaboration with little ego to it, because essentially you're creating something that is only meant to be changed for the art sake. Like it's meant to evolve. It's not meant to stay
Meant
like
to
written.
evolve. Meant to evolve is such a beautiful way to say it. Yes, it's meant to evolve. And I think like at every stage of creating art, it's we give our art. So you give the libretto so that it can be taken to the next level. You give the music so that it can be taken to the next level. You give the vocal, you sing, you perform it so that it can be given to the audience. That's the ultimate level, is that we're trying to take this story and give it to you. So what's going to make it resonate with you? It's very exciting.
Wow. Okay. So now, again, since Delaware is going to be the next place where the next great opera is going to be written, clearly.
Sorry, everybody else.
It's too late. We're here now. Okay. Matter of fact, she's sorry. I'm not. You better bring it behind. If you want to be a part of it, like, you better come on up. Okay. If you want to be a part of this opera situation, we pop it off. It's going down now. Okay. Listen. Get yourself a spot early. Okay. So, okay, one more question about the whole libretto situation. So a libretto reading, right? That sounds like my palm is involved and my future is told. But, okay, so the libretto reading, is it read in regular voices, or is it read in like mini opera voices where you're like whispering and you're like, how do you read it? Read an opera that's not a full opera yet. Like, what is that?
You know, I told you, there are no bad questions. There are only good questions in opera, because how else would you know this? How else would you learn about this? Like, a libretto read is literally us reading it like a play. So it's like a dramatic reading, right? So we're reading to decide who our characters are and to decide like what language is going to most effectively connect with the audience. That's what a libretto read is all about. A workshop is then when we take that libretto and it's been transformed into an opera, and so then we have our melodies and we know what we're supposed to sing, and then we present that. So there are different stages to kind of creating a new opera, and it takes years, and it's such a like labor of love. But then you get these, here's the thing that's amazing. There are operas that have existed for hundreds of years. La Boheme, Carmen, Madame Butterfly, hundreds of years. But there was a first audience that got to hear that opera. There was a first audience that got to hear those words. Right? And so why can't Delaware be the first?
That's right.
Why can't we be the first place that here's the next great American opera, the next great opera, period? Like, it can happen right here.
Yes, because when I think of, like, I ain't gonna lie, when I was young, Carmen came out, the hip opera, and that ain't opera. It's not at all. It was, it's not, but it was enjoyable. I loved it. It had Beyonce and Mos Def, Mekhi Phifer in it. Listen, it was a vibe. Okay, as I got older, I didn't understand why they called it an opera. Like, they didn't have to lie, but it was good. Like, I was like, why did you call it that? Like, y'all had so many options. Like, you could have called it.
Listen, you know I love Carmen the hip opera. You know I love it, because the thing I love about it is that I feel like it's a gateway to opera. So you watch Carmen the hip opera, you're not going to hear they're not singing in French, they're not singing with full orchestra in Carmen the hip opera, but you are going to learn about these characters, about their relationships, about the plot of the story. I think watching Carmen the hip opera and then going and seeing Carmen the proper opera, like the popper, highly recommend that.
Okay, because it's almost like a different rendition of the whole situation.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, listen, I am here for it. Also, let me know if you ever need me to add random dialects to librettos. I am great at adding in a good yeah, I mean. I can add in, what you need. Like, whatever if they want they, that, and them, guess who I can add. Listen, we can do it. Like, I know they love the days, but I got some days for you. So whatever we need to do to add to the opera, listen, I got options. We got opera options. Okay? I keep them under my hat. I got opera options under my hats. Okay?
Love your wall of hats, by the way.
Thank you. It's hats off. That's all it is. So, it's the show. Okay. Oh, glad you said that. I almost forgot this question, because now we're here and I'm asking away. So, right. This is gonna sound horrible, but so before January 6th, there was a hat that I associated with opera. I'm just saying, like, history changed things. I feel like they took your hats away. Like, y'all had a hat. It had horns on it. Okay? Like,
reclaiming my hat. I'm reclaiming my hat. You can't
you taking the horns back?
January 6th.
Because I was like, well, wait. Because after that happened, I stopped seeing, like, the opera lady singing with the hat on with the horns. Like, they don't even show that no more. Like, I said, well dang, what happened to the lady with the horns and the opera singer? Like, so do y'all still wear, have you ever worn said hat, and do they still wear it? Or after January 6th, they was like, yo, retire the hat.
So the opera that is based on, I have done that opera several times, and I've never been asked to wear that hat. I've never been a part of the production.
Well, okay, so the hat is only for commercials. I didn't even know.
I feel like the hat is more for like branding. I'll tell you that at Opera Delaware, that's one of our giveaways, is you can get like a light up Viking helmet as like one of our like gifties if you win like a prize from a spin from our prize wheel, or you win trivia or something at one of our events. You can win that proper little cute hat with the Viking horns, but it's more like associated with opera. I feel like in like a fun, silly way now. And I don't think I've ever seen a production that has required them to actually wear that.
Wow. Okay. That is wild. I love this country's marketing. Like, we love to do some stuff like that. Just put some stuff that they don't even use and make it regular. Like, oh, they do that over there. No, they don't. And if you never did opera or went to an opera, you would never know that it wasn't a thing. Like, that is hilarious.
That's the thing. We all have an idea in our head of what opera is and who opera is for. Because of marketing, because of what we've seen on TV, because of what we've learned about opera. And that's what I just want to like, let me blow your mind, babes, because there's so much more that opera is. It's not Viking horns and Valhalla. It's everything. It's everything.
Yes. All size ladies sing in opera. Don't let them lie to you.
Right. And trust and believe, there are plenty of us big girls doing it, and you're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, I'm here for it. This is great. Okay. Now, this question I ask all my guests because I'm very curious. It's interesting to me. So, right, especially considering you traveled all around across the country and outside of it. So I like to ask the question of, if you had to give a younger you advice, right? Maybe not the full grown Kerriann Otano, but maybe just the cur. You know what I'm saying? Just the cur. You ain't all the way there, you're just a cur. You know what I mean? And, maybe 17, 18, 19, almost the cur, right? You had to give some advice to a younger you. But here's the trick. The year is still 2024. Like, it's still now. And it just became now, quite frankly. It was 2023 3 days ago. Okay? Right before Cat Williams talked, it was 2023. So now it's 2024. Okay? So now, a younger you in 2024, what advice would you give?
I think that we stop doing a lot of things because we're not immediately great at them. I think that we stop ourselves because we're scared. And I think that the advice that I would give to a younger version of myself and a younger version of anyone is it's okay to be scared, do it anyway.
Ooh, it's okay to be scared, do it anyway. Somebody write that down. Somebody in the back, write that down. It's okay to be scared, do it anyway. All right? Yes. I got like 4 or 5 jokes that I've created. I done made a lot of things that I should have never mind. Okay. Yeah, I did it anyway. So I feel like crazy. Okay.
Oh no.
This was fun. This was a lot of fun. Okay, right. So now, upon the wrap up, I tell people that if you give me a word, thank you, they wrote it. Okay, anyway, sorry on the replay. You will not see that, so write it down yourself. So I do a thing on every episode when I wrap up. This has been Hats Off with G-Dash Jones, an amazing episode with Miss Kerriann Otano. Otano, because I'm saying it wrong. It rolls. Anyway, I tell people, if you give me a word, I give you a poem. Now, while you think of a word, I'm gonna tell the people. Listen, so this is hats off every Thursday, 7:30. Next week, I should have Richard Raw on here. We're gonna have a whole nother conversation. You're gonna drop the album, The Crown, and I'm be talking all the way back. That's his left album. You see how deep we running in this conversation. So we're gonna do that with him. Pay attention to that. Wednesday is the open mic jam session at the Wilmington Library. Same place where Amanda Seals is going to be. So after you see Amanda Seals, just come across the street. Well, not even the street, just across the hallway, and come see us rocking with the open mic. And if you can't make it there, I got a feature that's virtual that starts at 9, and I'll post a flyer for that. Also, look out for G-Update Your Calendar. I do a recap or review of all the local events coming up within the week or so, and some virtual events within the week in poem form. So look out for that. I post that every Monday or so. So, all right, with that said, Miss Kerriann, you got a word for me or a phrase?
I do. And the word is libretto.
Okay. Got you. Libretto. I'm thinking. I want to make the best movie ever. Okay. Maybe I should reconsider. Maybe I can think of something better. Okay. I want to make sure that what I create will live on forever. Now we get into facts. I feel like I might be on the right track. Let me dial it back. Okay. What I want to do is going to have you saying, oh, is he doing it again and again and again? Yes, my friend, because the only way to do it properly is as long as you make sure that you're ready to be a collaborative effort so we can all sit down and gain and win. See, the only way for me to make something that can last as long as you can think past is as long as we all sit down and bring something to the table. So therefore, we're able to make sure that this can go as far as we've ever seen. I can't have that ego getting in between everything that you think and the vision that I'm starting to, wait, let me calm down. I need to make it just a little bit more serene. I need us to feel like we can breathe for a second. Because sometimes when you get a little too tight, that means you're a little too hype. And I want to have pride in the things that are right, but I also want it to excite. Therefore, I have to step back so I can let the fire ignite for a second. I can't crowd it, because if I do, then that means I'm going to shroud it and then make sure it goes down. No. You got to let it get clouded. See, it has to be collaborative enough that when you write, then I can make sure that the music starts to bump. Oh, now all of a sudden I feel like I love this stuff. See, I don't want people's experience to have to ration. I want it to come in flowing in a way that creeps in with a passion. Therefore, it's outlasting the time frame that it starts to sit in. Oh, now I get it. Now I'm starting to know. As long as we can all come together, this is how we can create something that will last forever. And that's how we create an eternal glow. See, when I said I want to make a movie, you thought it was going to be Fast and Furious. I was just trying to create a little Toretto. No. I said I want it to be forever. Therefore, I'm going to start at a libretto. That was fun.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. I love it.
Thank you. That surmises the energy of the conversation we just had. Like that, I feel like that was good. That was good. Oh man, anything you want to say to the people before we get up out of here?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. Anytime that I can be a guest, I would be honored to come back. I can't wait to have you at the opera. I'm really not kidding. Like, mark it in your calendar. March 28th, you are now doing a gig with me. So get ready. Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready. Absolutely. And shouts out to is it, what's the name of the place?
Yes, Snuff Mill. Yeah, so we did
Snuff Mill. Okay, it looked like a barbecue joint on the label. I remember that. Okay, the label looked like it was a barbecue joint with the opera. Okay, yes. Like that's what it is. So shouts out to them because they got a whole situation. All right. So and it's a mini gala out there. It's a whole experience. The Opera Delaware invented the Millie Gala. I'm lying, but we do them a lot here. Okay, they do them a lot here. So,
listen, they can't touch us. They can't. Other people might try. They simply cannot touch us.
Absolutely. And Opera Delaware is not a location, like it doesn't have to sit in one room. They travel to different spots and do some dope stuff. So,
right.
Again, I'm G-Jones. That's Kerriannotano. This has been Hats Off, and I'll see y'all next. Love yourself, and everything else fall in place. I'll see y'all next week. Thank you. All right.
This was so fun. Thank you.
Yes, I love it.